So what is Veolia? It's a really large corporation. Our mission is really resourcing the world. We are in the circular economy around 3 business lines: water, waste, and energy. About the revenue, last year we made 27 billion euro. We are around 180,000 people. Very decentralized around 50 countries. And Europe, because it's a subject today, is about 50% of our revenue today, and France 20%. Next slide, please. So our IT strategy. So to support this IT strategy, we have launched some years ago 3 large programs. The first is M2C, for Move to Cloud. So it's really the intention to be 100% public cloud, serverless, and a pure SaaS strategy. And we intend to do that really in 5 years and not 10 or 15. So it's really a hard move. Second one, D4B, is data for business. It's just to design digital solution for our client. And last one is SAT award, meaning secure anytime, anywhere, any device. So it's really to implement a digital workplace, a pure web environment. And so our standard workstation is no more a Windows PC, but it is a Chromebook running a Chrome OS and the Google Suite. Next slide, please. So what is our journey to do all that? So it began in 2013 with the migration of our mail on Google. And this choice was driven, in fact, first by security, because Google offers a zero trust approach. And maybe the second reason was, of course, to have a more native web solution. And only the third one was to lower the cost. So in 2015, we launched this Move to Cloud, which was first a pure lift and shift of all our application portfolio. And in parallel, we began to replace all the on-premise application by SaaS application. And to select all these new application, we implement what we call a technical and legal authority process to check 2 things. First, that it was aligned with our IT strategy and safe from a cybersecurity point of view. And secondly, to be sure that it was compliant with our data governance. And we will see we have many risks on this area. So next slide, please. So on this legal side, Alban was speaking. In fact, we look at it around 4 areas to try to lower this risk. First is business data with the intellectual property, all the HR, financial data, technical data. Second very important subject is all about extraterritorial action, because you know that more and more the US DOJ and so on can in fact capture our data without even, I would say, notifying the client. So it's really a dangerous process. Of course, it's in billion, because we all remember the problem of the BNP in Iran. And it's really a huge problem. Third area is about licensing, because more and more editors are trying to make fees with data exchange. And the last point is, of course, the GDPR. So in general, when we select our SaaS solution, we are really agnostic about the cloud provider. So in 3 years, we have analyzed around 300 SaaS solutions, and the related cloud provider under this SaaS solution reflects, in fact, the cloud market share, meaning we have really 4 main providers today, AWS leading the pack, followed by Azure, Google, and OVH Cloud. But depending on the subject, we are more and more looking to this data location and the nationality of this cloud provider because of this extraterritorial subject. So GDPR is, of course, I agree, is a very good regulation with, especially with the Article 32, the obligation for the software editor to detail these terms, technical organizational measure to protect the data. But GDPR does not give any prescription about the data location. So that's really a problem, and it's not enough to be safe for all our data. Next slide, please. So, of course, for a user point of view, this European data sovereignty is really more and more key things. And we have summarized this in 3 main use cases. The first case is about all our contract with municipal clients and all what we do in the smart city. So in fact, this client very often are asking to have their data located in their own country. And so, of course, it's maybe a little too much because it's even not aligned with European law, because what is important is to locate in Europe, but not especially in one country in Europe. And but so it could be very important for us to reassure this client to be able to prove that all the data is in Europe, and also maybe that the cloud provider is a European native. So that's the first case. The second case is even more global. It's about all our contract, in fact, which could be attacked from extraterritorial reason, and for all our intellectual property and innovation. And for that, we need really to secure some sensitive data and to avoid, of course, the data leaks and any extraterritorial litigation. So for that, we did some already proof of concept, because we have, for instance, test the trust third-party solution. It means that we are able to encrypt above the cloud provider, encrypt all the data with our own key that are shared between Veolia and the third party. That's a solution, at least for data at rest, for the data flow generally. Not sure, completely sure, because we are not sure that it's secure for all the compute in memory, but globally it's a secure solution. But it's also quite heavy because we have to share this key with many stakeholders, so it's quite complex. We have also other solution. In some case, we just put the data outside from the SaaS solution we have selected, because this SaaS solution is driven by a non-European editor. So I would say we have not finished with that, and we are still working on it. So the last case is about IoT. We have today more than 10 million of sensor. And so, of course, we have this big data to manage. Very often it's a data which is owned by our client or by ourselves. But anyway, we are interested by, I would say, local architecture and maybe edge computing. So in summary, we can say that Veolia has made this big move at first with, I would say, American provider, but more and more we try to balance this part to be sure that we are more European and we have more safety on all this sensitive data. Thank you.